Welcome back to the Exhaust Zone Podcast. I'm Brynn Patton, and that is Steve Arpin.
How's it going, buddy?
Good. Yeah, it's been a while since I last saw you. It's been almost 10 years now. I had a birthday a while back where we came into your shop and I sat in your rallycross car and you called Ken Block and you gave me a wheel from one of your collisions. So it's been a while, but you are a very versatile guy. You've done NASCAR, rallycross, dirt track racing, you name it. So first, I wanted to ask, what was being a part of Global Rallycross like?
Well, just to back up a little bit, I don't know if versatile is the right word as much as lucky. I would say I'm a lucky dude for just all the things I've been able to experience and do in my life. It's been amazing, and obviously now to be running Longhorn is just it's kind of like a dream come true for me. But going back to Rallycross, those cars, they're just so much fun. It's like playing with a super fast, really cool RC car that just zips around and it's like almost uncontrollable. It's so fast and doing that in real life. And I remember being a kid, right? Like I'd be playing with my toy cars, but jump in my cars and everything. And then to be able to go and do that in real life in a piece of equipment that was so like it was a Ford Fiesta, right? So, but it was the most technologically advanced race car I've ever driven, and just to be totally fair, the most technologically advanced race car that I'll probably ever be in. So to be able to drive those things for so many years and travel the world and meet the people and build the relationships and everything that we're able to do through that process, and all the people that stood behind me, and Colin Dine, who owned Global Rallycross, for believing in me and wanting to bring me over to that side of the world when I had some sponsor issues on the NASCAR side of things. Like just everything was pretty incredible.
Currently, you briefly mentioned this, you own Longhorn Chassis, which is a company for dirt modifieds. So, for people who don't know, what exactly is that?
So Longhorn Chassis was actually started by Justin Labonte and his uncle, or his dad and his uncle, Bobby and Terry Labonte. They're from the NASCAR world, obviously, and they did an amazing job with it. So we originally took over the modified portion of Longhorn, and then really quickly realized that there's a lot of room for growth with a merger between the Labontes and us on our side with Paul and John Leach and myself, who I'd done all the rallycross stuff with as well. So Longhorn Chassis, it's actually primarily dirt late models. So we build a very good amount of dirt late models that are used all across the United States, and actually in both Australia and New Zealand as well now. So, and Canada, obviously. So it's pretty cool. Got an incredible team here. We got this facility. We're actually in the process trying to figure out how to grow, because we're using more space than we're actually allowed to be using on our property. We've just been told, so we're trying to figure all that out. But it's been a wild ride, building a lot of cool race cars, and my heart is in dirt racing. That's what I grew up doing. So to be able to be back here making a living doing what I grew up absolutely loving to do is literally, I have to pinch myself. Even a bad day at work here is not a bad day. So it's pretty cool. And we got some of the best dirt late model racers in the history of dirt late model racing that use our cars, and they have a lot of choices of what cars they can run, and they choose to run ours. So it's pretty cool.
Have you driven one of these cars yourself?
Yeah, I grew up racing dirt modifieds. Raced dirt late models a couple times. There's a couple guys that let me drive their Mikey Nutzman let me drive his late model. Scott Clippinger let me drive his late model, and then Chris Dunn also let me drive his. And then so I've tested ours a couple times, and it sounds like, so I made an old friend of mine a bet. I wouldn't even say a bet. He was trying to get me to race, and I said, "Well, if you do it, because he's retired too, so if you do it, I'll do it." and that bugger went and bought himself a race car. So now we're trying to figure out how to get a car put together. We're gonna throw them together, and I'll probably come out of retirement temporarily, if you want to call it that, here in a month or so, and go and race a good friend of mine up in Minnesota. It'll be like the good old days.
You also mentioned NASCAR. So, how does NASCAR compare to dirt track racing from a driving perspective?
It doesn't. It doesn't. I'm just kidding. It's you can never ever take anything away from NASCAR and how talented those guys are, and just all the people and the moving parts that go behind making one of those teams run. It's a huge business. It's a huge operation to keep those teams flowing down the road the way they do at the level that they do. So that's incredible. Dirt racing is just a complete different type of thrill, right? So NASCAR, you've got the rush of a Bristol or a Texas on the intermediate track, and the downforce and the G forces, and just hauling the mail around those racetracks at close to a couple 100 mile an hour, right? And then going to Talladega, where it's not even so much the adrenaline rush as it's a mental rush, trying to navigate your way through the draft at a place like Talladega and Daytona, versus dirt racing, where it's just pure adrenaline. Like, it's all you gotta go. There's not that much tire saving anymore. There's not, like, these guys have figured out how to run these cars to the on the edge of what they're physically and mechanically capable of for the entire race. And so it's an entirely different type of thrill. But I would argue that dirt racing, especially at the dirt late model level, with everything going on in these race cars, the movement, like the rear steer that happens, the posture you need to keep the car in to be fast, and some drivers have more of an ability to do that with their feet and how they drive the car, and less mechanical or hydraulic assistance from shocks, if you want to call it that. So it's I would be I would love to debate some people about dirt late model racing probably being one of the most difficult types of vehicles to make go fast at the highest levels, in across all disciplines, to be fair.
What was it like working with Ken Block?
It was everything. It was every range of an experience or an emotion that you could ever dream of, right? Like, the guy is legendary. He's the most visible man in all of motorsports in the world, right? And he figured out a way to build that brand for himself, and then the things that he was capable of doing. And I think some people took away his driving ability because they just thought that he was like this marketing guy that just had a bunch of views, and that's why he made it. It's like, well, no, he did a lot of really cool, really wild stuff, in race cars all over the world, in completely uncontrolled circumstances that most people wouldn't even dare to do, right? And and the guy was an incredible competitor. He was a brilliant, beyond anyone I've ever met in my life, brilliant mind when it came to how to create a show and create entertainment that would attract people's eyeballs. He was a brilliant marketer. And honestly, most of all, he's just a great dude. Like, he's just awesome. Like, you get him out of the element and out of the away from the cameras, and just, I remember the first time he brought me over to his house, and in Park City up there. I walk in, he's got a ping pong table in the middle of his living room, and we're playing ping pong within 5 minutes of being in his house and having an awesome dinner. And there's random people walking through the door. That the place was just wide open to friends and family, and his kids. All three of his kids are just absolutely amazing. And Lucy is just a sweetheart. So the guy was the guy was a lot of things, but I would say his if you could ask him, if you could ask him now, or if you could ask him, it's like, what was your biggest flex? And it would be the family that he was able to build, and the wife he chose, and the kids that they raised. I would say that was, above everything else, that would be his biggest flex.
Do you have a favorite memory from racing?
Whew. how much time do we got? Right? Like there's a lot of good ones. Honestly, looking back at it now and being a dad myself now, it's all the moments with my dad, um, and all the all the memories we're able to do, all the things that we're able to do together, all the things that he taught me in life through the sport, that have been able to propel me into a place of success in my career, and ultimately just the relationship that I was able to build to my dad through a passion that both him and I shared. I would say I would say when it's all said and done, that would trump every win, every everything. Um, and as far as like just a actual racing memory, I would say it would probably be. It was actually wasn't even racing. It was making videos with Ken, um, and jumping. I actually have it. I have it somewhere here in my office, but I've got this one picture that I'll just forever love, and and I remember looking back at it, it's like holy cow, like I did that, and it's I'll just put it right there. So it's flying through the air, Ken and myself in Salt Lake City, absolutely side by side. And we both have a UFC champion in the car with us. One was screaming like a wild man, the other one was screaming like a scared little girl. it was wild. So that was I would say that day, especially in hindsight, knowing that we're gonna lose Ken early, I would say from a driving aspect and everything, that day was a pretty cool day. Memories that'll last with me forever.
So this might be a bit of a loaded question. How did you first get into cars?
My dad was always into racing, locally, back at home. I remember hearing the story. Obviously, I was young and I don't remember this, but when I wouldn't go to sleep, they would fire up the race car and put me in the seat and roll it outside, and just the vibrations would put me to sleep. And when go kart racing became a thing back at home, was able to took a while, but was able to earn it, and then also talk my parents into helping me some to make it happen to start go kart racing. And I still remember this. We had the go kart in the back of the truck. We're on our way home from Riverside Speedway in Rainy River, Ontario, and I was sitting in between my parents, leaned up between the two seats, like mom, dad, I just want to do this forever. I want to do this forever. And and that really I was just hooked from that moment.
Do you have a favorite motorsport?
Dirt racing. There's any form of dirt racing. I love it. It's it's awesome. It's fun. It's it's one of those forms of motorsport that, yeah, it is very expensive to do, and you have to have the right equipment, but you also can't buy your way to the front either. You can come in here with the most money of anyone in the world, and you're not going to buy a World 100 win. You're not going to buy a Dream win. You're not going to buy a PDC win in this sport. It's one of those things that's almost self-regulating based on ability. And everything. And I love that about the sport.
So have you worked on any of the cars yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. So I not so much anymore. Honestly, nowadays they keep me up here in my office trying to figure out how to keep the business running. But I grew up building race cars. Partnered up with Larry Shaw for a long time. Had our own chassis business before I moved south to chase my NASCAR dreams and everything. So we built everything from our own bodies to bumpers and put our own suspension points on. Sometimes we'd repair cars at the shop, and everything. So we've done it all from the bottom step all the way to running the whole business now. So we've been involved in every step in between.
So what all kind of cars have you worked on?
So mainly race cars. Everything race cars for me. When I first started ARCA racing, I was driving, but I was also in the shop working on the cars as well. I cannot stand working on street cars. I feel bad for people that have to work on street cars. There, you can't get to anything anymore in those things. But just any and all kind of race cars I've ever been in, I've always had a really good understanding of the mechanics underneath it. I think that really makes you a better driver, and gives you the ability to give better feedback, really understanding what's underneath you.
What is the trickiest part that you've ever had to deal with when working on one of these race cars?
I would say the most complicated part for me would have been the gearboxes and everything, which I never even worked on these myself because I sat next to Carl Goodman, who is my engineer and crew chief and team leader and general manager and everything he was. He wore a lot of hats, and he also rebuilt all the gearboxes and everything and clutches and all that, and keeping those transmissions and clutches and differentials and everything going in those rallycross cars was like it was like precision surgery. And the guys that were able to put those together without having any failures and everything, they're truly one of a kind and sharp guys.
Do you have a favorite track?
I think it's hard to say that Eldora is not your favorite track, right? But if I if I had picked something outside of Eldora, I would definitely say it'd be Deer Creek Speedway up in Rochester, Minnesota. There, got so many friends there, so many core memories there, and just absolutely love racing that racetrack. But Eldora is just kind of one of those iconic tracks as well that you just get that. It's like walking into Daytona, right? You just get that chill that runs down your back when you walk through the gates of that place. So between Deer Creek Speedway on a regular basis and then just the legendary aspect of Eldora Speedway.
Steve and I had a great time talking, and there will be a part 2 to this episode releasing in the coming weeks. Stay tuned.